Hey y'all, Fat Man Outdoors. Hey, if you liked the video, click that like button and click subscribe so that you'll get notifications whenever we post new content. Appreciate you watching. This is the Fat Man. I'm gone. Hey y'all, Fat Man Outdoors. Back out here in the shade behind the barn again. As y'all know, life happens. You know, I got stuff I got to do. Y'all got stuff you got to do. I wanted to go fishing today. I've got something popped up I have to help my daughter and my son-in-law with. So I'm going to do a couple of short videos here today and before I have to help them. And then tomorrow, Saturday, I got to go down to Livingston, Tennessee to do some stuff for some other people. So that's kind of shot that day, but I don't fish on the weekends anyway. And I go to church all day on Sunday, so I don't fish on Sunday. I give my life to the Lord that day. And also, well, I give my life to the Lord all the time. But I go to church to do it on Sundays and Wednesdays. And so I'll be back on the water Monday, giving a little rain. Not going to be a problem. I'll throw a poncho on the boat and go on. As long as it ain't lightning, I'm good. But anyway, what I want to get to. In our last video, we talked a lot about different kinds of baits for summer fishing. Now, I want to show you a bait today, a bait style, not a particular bait, but a bait style that a lot of people, I feel, overlook for big bass fishing, especially in the summertime. And that is these little micro baits. Now these are little bitty guys, okay? And that's one of my favorite colors of these little bitty guys is the chartreuse and white. And I also like chartreuse and blue. I like that color as well. But there's also a couple of designs of these. That was one. Let me move this down out of the way. Alright, see, now you had that little short build. Get that guy out here again so you can see him real quick. This is a little short bill bait. They're only about an inch long, not counting the bill. The body of the lure is just about an inch long. But they have really good hooks on them, and they got good hook spacing, so you don't have a lot of time with the hooks hanging up with each other. A lot of times on small baits you have to watch that. You may have to reduce the size. But that little bait, especially if you run on, say, 10 or 12 pound test line, monofilament especially, and you hold the rod tip up, you can fish that crankbait burning it in a foot of water. You know, if you're in a place where there's a back bay and there's a bunch of washed in wood or little pockets of grass or isolated cover in that back bay, but the water is very, very, very shallow, way back in there, you can make a long cast with some of these little lures on a spinning reel, or even on some of the newer bait casting reels. You can throw these small baits, and you can throw them way in the back of that bay, and then hold the rod tip up high, and you can pretty steady crank them and stay 6, 8, 10 inches under the water. And big bass that are in there trying to catch the bait fish that are trying to stay in there under that cover, they'll tear that up. But right here is another style of those, and you can see that bill is quite a bit longer. This little lure right here will dive down to about 5 or 6 feet, this little bitty lure. And a lot of times on that transition part of the day, when it's not too hot and it's not just getting daylight and fish are kind of sliding down off of that a little bit to try to get ready to move down into that cooler water, you can catch them right on that edge. And a lot of times bait fish this size will be hanging out right in there because they don't really want to leave the rocks. They don't want to get out in that deeper water, so they want to kind of stay up there. So a lot of times as those bass are transitioning down, they'll feed on fish this size. I like chartreuse colors. The colors that's got a lot of different colors. That's a really neat little color there, a tiger stripe. Also, I like the ones that are like this that are speckle painted. I've got several different colors of these. That's a red and black one. I've got some that are chartreuse and blue. I've got some that are orange and black. So well, right here's one that is actually another small bait. That is speckled, and it's orange and black. I really like that one. In the fall of the year, I like these, that color. But there's a lot of different designs of these smaller baits, and they'll work. I would even consider baits this size as a smaller bait. And a lot of people in the summertime when they're cranking, they don't want to get up past 2 inches or under 2 inches on a body on a crankbait, because for some reason I guess they think the only thing they're going to catch is bluegill. I don't know. But this little bait here, as you can see how long that bill is on this little bait. This little bait will dig. This little bait will get to 7 or 8, 9 feet deep, depending on how fast you crank it and in the area where you want to fish it. If there's the stuff that you're going to be bumping up against with your lure, then you take one of these that's got this long bill on it, and you have less chance of getting hung up. That bill will hit and it'll flip the lure over it. And a lot of times when that lure hits and flips over, and then its vibration is interrupted, and then it takes off again. When it takes off after coming over that piece of cover, a lot of times that's the hit you'll get. This is probably my favorite color in these small lures, is when you can get orange and green and chartreuse all mixed together. I like white, especially earlier in the day, but I like chartreuse all day long. Fish will hit it, and there's so many different combinations of chartreuse, and it's just a very, very good color anytime. But in these small baits, don't look away from them. You know, I mean, they're something that most people, they just don't want to fish with them. You know, unless they're fishing in a river or a large stream or a small pond. Now they're awesome baits there too, but they'll work on open water. They'll work on reservoirs. They'll work on lakes. But what I want to show you something with these little lures is that the tuning on these little lures works exactly the same. I don't know if you can see that, but right down at the end of my finger there's an eyelet that goes into that bill. And when these lures are a little bit more tedious about keeping them running true, and I'm going to guess it's because the body doesn't interact with the water as much as a bigger bodied lure would, and it gives the bill opportunity to get out, you know, and jump out of line. So, but you can still adjust them. Just take a pair of needle nose pliers, slightly bend that little eyelet one way or the other, opposite of which way you want it to go. If it's going too far to the left, bend it just a little bit to the right, so you put a little bit more pressure on it. Do it very lightly. You can even take a knife and on one side of the bill, just scrape off a little of the plastic. Don't whittle it off, scrape it off on the opposite side of where you want the bait to go, and that'll cause it to turn back the other way. But it doesn't take much. I'd stay away from doing that, because you can bend that eyelet back. You can't put the plastic back if you scrape off too much. Okay, but that's just what I wanted to talk to you about real quick in this video, guys, about little lures. Don't overlook these little lures. Little lures will catch big fish. Y'all, hope to see you out there on the water. Y'all be safe and God bless you. This is the Fat Man. I'm gone.